All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host, Chuck Stevenson, coming at you today with a special event preview. So we're going to Singapore on September 3rd, this Friday, for One Championship Empower, the first ever all-ladies event for a major promotion. And this event is set to truly deliver. I mean, you look at this fight card here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bouts in total, with one Muay Thai, one kickboxing, and then 6 MMA bouts, including the quarterfinals of the women's Atomweight Grand Prix, and then capped off by a headlining championship bout, women's Strawweight champion, world championship between Xiong and Jingnan, the champ, defending against possibly her toughest challenge to date in Michelle Nicolini. Let's go ahead and get down into this one. I'm very excited about this event. First up, we have the Atomweight World Grand Prix alternate bout between Mayyamaguchi and Julie Mezabarba. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats here. VV May coming in at 21, 12, and 1. Mezabarba coming in at 8 and 2. Now, May is coming off her first loss in a while, a year and a half ago, to Denice Zamboanga. Before that, had multiple fight winning streak. Most recent win was over Jenny Juan. Now, Mezabarba has not fought anywhere outside of Brazil. Her last bout came like 6 months ago, where she won the decision. Before that, had a decision as well about a year and 7 months ago. Now, the youth is definitely on Mezabarba's side. She's 28 to VV May's 38 years old. VV May, no spring chicken. And Mezabarba will have a 3-inch height advantage, 5 foot 3 inch, 160 centimeters, to VV May's 5 feet 153 centimeters. So I tried to look for some of Mezabarba's fights online. Excuse me. And honestly, the only thing I could find was a short highlight reel clip. So I really just do not know much about her. One thing I do know, she throws with some power, and she throws big, looping punches, almost like old school shoot-to-box style punches. Of course, Mayyamaguchi, she's good everywhere, whether it goes to the ground or stays on the feet. On the feet, she's most noted for that big, powerful overhand right that she's used to drop one world champion, Angela Lee, on multiple occasions. This is a very interesting one. Like I said, Mayyamaguchi, she's not a spring chicken. She's getting up there in age for a fighter. Also, she hasn't fought in about a year and a half. So you got to wonder what the ring rust is like. Whereas Mezabarba, she's coming in, she's a total mystery. I mean, I look at her record, and I see nothing impressive as far as records go. I mean, her best win is over a fighter who had 2 wins and 3 losses at the time. A lot of her opposition is just straight up novice level. Like, she hasn't made a step up in competition yet. So I just don't know how good she's going to be. So, twisting my arm here, if I got to make a pick, then I got to go with Mayyamaguchi. I mean, she has just shown herself to be one of the absolute best in this division, and I think she has enough to beat, someone like Mezabarba, who just doesn't have that high-level experience yet. Then we move to a strawweight Muay Thai bout. Jackie Buntan taking on Daniela Lopez. I'll be honest, I don't follow Muay Thai closely enough to really know much about either of these fighters. I've seen Jackie fight twice. I don't know anything about Daniela Lopez, so I can't really give anything on that, but I do know that Buntan is a very exciting fighter. Dropped Wonder Girl Fairtex with 1 punch, and she dropped like a stone. I mean, she got back up, but man, it was harsh. Broke her eye socket with it, so definitely keep an eye on Jackie Buntan. Then an atomweight kickboxing bout. Anissa Meksen making her one championship debut, taking on Cristina Morales. Now, I don't follow women's kickboxing very closely, so I can't go tell you a whole lot about it. Don't know anything about Morales. I know Meksen coming in straight out of Glory Kickboxing, where she was the champion over there. I know that she has like around 100 wins to like less than 5 losses. So, I mean, obviously she is very good at what she does. Very highly anticipated debut in one championship for Anissa Meksen. A lot of people are looking forward to seeing her fight there. So now we move on into the quarterfinal bouts for the Women's Atomweight World Grand Prix. First up, Itsuki Hirata taking on Alyse Anderson. Strong heart fighter, Itsuki coming in at 4-0. Little Savage Anderson coming in at 5-1. Anderson has 4 years on Hirata, 26 to 22. And that extends to the height as well. 5 feet 5 inches, 165 centimeters for Anderson to 5'2", 157 centimeters for Hirata. Anderson, one of the tallest atomweights active today. That extends to the reach as well. 66 inches, 168 centimeters for Anderson to 62.6 inches, 159 centimeters for Hirata. So a lot of people are favoring Itsuki Hirata to win this one. And I am too, but purely because of the activity level. I mean, most of Hirata's fights have come within the time since Alyse Anderson last fought. Alyse Anderson hasn't fought since she defeated Katie Saul via split decision in Invicta 2 years ago. In the last 2 years, Hirata has like 4 wins, most recently coming off a TKO over Miku Nakamura. Was that just shy of 6 months ago. As far as skill-wise goes, though, this is a lot closer than people think. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Alyse Anderson simply because they're not familiar with her. They either don't follow Invicta that closely or they're newer to the sport. And a lot of people are hypnotized by how cute Hirata is. This is going to be a very tough fight for Itsuki. I mean, if it goes to the ground, Anderson is good on the ground. She has good submission skills as well. She has a flying triangle submission win. If it stays on the feet, I definitely see it going Anderson's way. She has some good clinch work. She has the length. She has the reach. If she wants to stay on the outside, she should be able to keep it on the outside. And look, Hirata is mostly a specialist. She prefers to get in close, get a trip or a throw from her using her judo background, and then she likes to go for either submissions from the collar tie, or she likes to throw ground and pound, but mostly likes the submission from the collar tie. So Hirata, she can enforce a well-rounded game when she has to, but for the most part, she likes to do the same thing every time. And I think Alyse Anderson, she's at a good camp now. She's training full time. I think they're going to prepare her well for that. That being said, when I did my original preview video for this one, I went with Hirata. I'm still going with Hirata just because of that activity level. But I'm not 100% on that. And I think, like I said, a lot of people are just overlooking or straight up dismissing Alyse Anderson. Moving along, continuing in the Grand Prix quarterfinals, Meng taking on Ritu Phogat. Meng coming in at 17-5. The Indian Tigress coming in at 5-1. Meng hasn't lost since before debuting and won. Most recently, she took a decision win over Samara Santos 6 months ago. Ritu Phogat coming in off a win over Heijin Lin just a few weeks ago. Before that, lost to B. Nguyen via split decision. I'll be honest, I was surprised looking at the age here. I thought Meng would be the elder fighter, but it's actually Phogat at 27 years to 25 for Phogat. Phogat's going to have the height, Meng is going to have the height as well. 5 feet 4 inches, 162 centimeters to 5'1", 156 centimeters for Phogat. No reach available for Phogat. Meng Bow is listed at 64.6 inches, 164 centimeters. This is an interesting one. I think this one is the hardest one for me to pick because we still haven't seen fully what Ritu Phogat is capable of. I mean, all of her wins, all 6 of her fights have come within the last, just under 2 years, whereas Meng Bow has been fighting for a lot longer than that. Meng Bow, she hits hard. She's known for one-hitter quitter power. So if she can connect, on Ritu Phogat, she could very easily put Phogat's lights out. Now, we have seen Meng Bow struggle a little bit on the ground, and that is where Ritu Phogat is at her absolute best. Phogat is a beast of a wrestler, takes fighters down, works to improve her position, and then goes for the ground and pound finish. And that is exactly what she does. And I've also seen that she has made some improvements on stand-up. The big problem, though, is that her transitions between the stand-up to the ground, I noticed in the B. Nguyen fight, she would strike and then she would completely stop striking in order to set up her takedown, whereas she needs to, really set up her takedowns off of her striking. So I think Meng Bow should be able to prepare for that. Also, I think the experience factor is going to be a big thing. And really what this fight all comes down to is, will Ritu Phogat get the takedown against Meng Bow? If she can definitely win this one. But if she can't, she is in for a very long night. Now, Meng Bow, she's been thrown off. I expect her to be a little bit thrown off by that. Her opponent has been changed 3 times. It's supposed to be Phogat. Then it was Julie Mezabarba. Then it was supposed to be, excuse me, Grace Cleveland. And now it's Ritu Phogat again. So, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to throw Meng Bow off of her game, keep her from working on her takedown defense too much. But if so, I hope that's not what happens, because I want to see a good fight here. But I'm going to go with Meng Bow either by knockout or by decision. I just don't think that Ritu Phogat has the high enough level experience to beat someone like Meng Bow. I mean, and honestly, struggling with B. Nguyen the way she did, and then gassing out hard in the third because she stopped being able to get her takedown so easily, just wasn't a good look for her. So we're going with Meng Bow by knockout or decision. Then next up on the Grand Prix quarterfinals, we have the rematch between Alyona, Rassohina, and Stamp Fairtex. Rassohina coming in at 13-4. Stamp Fairtex coming in at 5-1. Now, Rassohina riding a 3-fight streak into this, most recently having defeated Stamp 6 months ago. This has been an immediate rematch for both. Fairtex lost, of course, coming off that loss to Rassohina 6 months ago. Before that was undefeated as a pro mixed martial artist. Most recent win was a year ago over Anissa Sreeson. Rassohina is the elder fighter, 31-23 for Fairtex. They stand the same height, 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters. So I did a full preview on this bout if you want to go check that out. But I'm picking Rassohina to win this one. Fairtex was doing really well in the stand-up and on the ground last time. But I think Rassohina surprised a lot of people by how well she was doing on the feet against Fairtex. She was taking away a lot of Stamp's weapons, like the low kicks and everything, whereas Fairtex was actually doing better than I thought she would on the ground against Rassohina. The big key here for Rassohina is that she can't just, abandon position for high-risk, low probability submissions like she does a lot with her armbar. She gave up entire position entirely too much here. Whereas Stamp, if I were her, I'd try to avoid the ground as much as possible, keep it on the feet, because she was winning the fight on the feet. Rassohina was doing well, but Stamp was really going to work on the feet and was, in my opinion, too willing to go to the ground. But I'm going with Rassohina to win this rematch. She has that psychological advantage of the first win over Stamp, even though Stamp denied that she tapped. She definitely did, and that's going to be playing against Stamp psychologically. And I just think that Rassohina is the better all-around fighter. Rassohina has more ways to win than Stamp does. So that's why I'm going with her to win this rematch. Moving along to the co-main event and the last quarterfinal for the Women's World Grand Prix. Denice Zamboanga taking on Sahi Ham. This is huge. You got the #1 atomweight in the world in Sahi Ham taking on the #1 ranked atomweight in one championship, Denice Zamboanga. This is a fight that if they were on opposite sides of the bracket, you could almost expect to see in the finals. But here, one championship is saying, well, we want to get this fight and make sure that we get it, guarantee that we have this fight. So that's why I believe that's why they booked this fight, for so early in the tournament, in the Grand Prix. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. The Menace coming in at 8-0, Ham coming in at 23-8. Ham by far the most experienced fighter in this Grand Prix. Of course, Zamboanga undefeated, last defeated the debutante Watsapina Kayukong via Americana submission 11 months ago. Ham coming up on, almost 2 years. Last fought defeating Ayaka Hamasaki via split decision a year, 7 months ago to claim the Ryzen championship. Before that, that was to cap off a 6-fight win streak where she finished, I believe, 4 of the 6. So Ham riding a really nice win streak coming into this. Youth is on Zamboanga's side at 24 to 34 years for Ham. 10-year age difference. Ham is definitely getting towards, the twilight era of her career. Height is identical, 5 feet 2 inches, 158 centimeters. No reach listed for Zamboanga. Ham is listed at 62 inches, 157 centimeters. This has got to be by far the most anticipated fight of this event. By every metric that I've seen, everyone is really excited for this. Whether they're a Ham fan or a Zamboanga fan, people are really hyped for this one. Zamboanga, you know what? I was not giving her enough credit when she got to one championship, because I looked at her record and I said, well, she hasn't beaten anybody with even a single win. She was 5-0 against opponents without a single win, most of them debutantes. Then she comes in, she beats Jean Roger, and I'm like, well, okay, she did fine there, but I'm still not quite convinced. And then she came in and beat Mayyamaguchi more definitively than even the current champ Angela Lee has. So Zamboanga, very good fighter. Decent striking, worked on it a lot when she was with at the Fairtex training facility. Now she's switched to the Merrick gym and does really good with her wrestling, particularly taking down her opponents near the cage. So that's something that Ham's going to watch out for. For Ham, her style has really evolved over the years. She's like a counter pressure fighter, as it were. She comes forward, pressuring her opponents, but she likes to wait for the counter. She uses she's a southpaw and uses her lead hand almost like the probe, or to catch the lead hand of her opponent and launch that left hand that she uses so well. But Ham, she gets labeled almost a pure striker sometimes, and her ground game is very, very underappreciated. Talk about someone who almost submitted Ayaka Hamasaki with a triangle, had her trapped in that triangle for over half of a round. So Ham is a pretty well-rounded fighter. She just prefers to keep it on the feet. Now, for my pick for this one, look, aside from the long layoff and moving up in weight, because you got to remember, this is at 115. Ham was fighting at 105 and then 108. It's not the first time that Ham has fought at this weight class at 115. And from what I've seen, she has really worked on developing her strength and conditioning to be able to compete at this higher weight. So I'm going with Sahi Ham. Yes, she's coming off that long layoff, but man, she has faced better fighters than Zamboanga. She has beaten better fighters than Zamboanga. She might be getting up there in age, but she is probably the highest skilled single fighter in this Grand Prix, and she's one of the favorites to win. And I don't blame people saying that because she's my pick as well. And I even had to disclaimer here, Ham is my favorite fighter, but I really worked hard to put aside my biases and tried to make the best pick that I could, and it still came to Sahi Ham every time. So I'm going with Sahi Ham to win this one. So now we move into the main event, Strawweight World Championship. Defending champ Xiong Jingnan taking on the challenger Michelle Nicolini. The Panda Xiong coming in at 15-2, Nicolini coming in at 6-2. Now Xiong last fought 9 months ago, defeating Tiffany Teo in a rematch by decision. Absolutely just turned Teo's face into a hamburger as well. Before that, she had lost to Angela Lee down a weight class at 115 at Atomweight via rear naked choke, and before that had finished Angela Lee via TKO. Nicolini coming off a win over Angela Lee 2 years ago, biggest win of her career. Before that, lost to Tiffany Teo. That was 2 years, 9 months ago. Youth is on the champion side in this one. 33 years for Xiong to 39 for Michelle Nicolini. Michelle Nicolini is definitely getting up there in age. As far as height goes, they stand the same height, 5 feet 5 inches, 165 centimeters. No reach given for either fighter here. Okay, so this fight is really going to depend on who can make their opponent fight to their strengths, fight to their game plan. Xiong is going to look to keep this on the feet. We know what kind of fighter she is. She's a boxer primarily. She does throw some kicks, but likes to throw the hands more. Whereas Nicolini, we're just going to ignore that. Nicolini is a 5-time world BJJ champion, and she's going to look to get this fight to the ground. The big challenge for Nicolini is that she doesn't always have the greatest of takedowns, so she might have a hard time getting it there. Xiong, fairly good takedown defense. I mean, the only fighter I think that has been able to take her down has been Angela Lee, and Angela Lee is just an absolute beast with the takedowns. So whoever gets this fight into their wheelhouse and can keep it there should be able to walk away with this. Xiong, like I said, she has to stay on the feet, and if she gets taken down, she has to survive at least the first round, possibly the second. Because here's the thing about Nicolini. Her gas tank, not the best gas tank. You know, she's not getting any younger at 39, and also she just expends a lot of energy with her grappling exchanges. So if Xiong does get taken down, she's got to survive at least the first 2 rounds, try to gas out Nicolini. For Nicolini, I think she was going to do a lot better the faster she can get a finish. Because if Xiong doesn't get stopped, she's going to keep on keeping on. She's going to keep on coming forward, looking to land those punches and beat up Nicolini. Now, having watched Nicolini's last 2 fights against Tiffany Teo, who's primarily a striker, she was very hesitant to come forward. Whereas Angela Lee, there was no hesitation, and I think that might be just because of the different stylistic matchups. We'll have to see. But as for my pick, I'm picking Xiong Jingnan to win this one, either by TKO or unanimous decision. Or not necessarily unanimous, but TKO or decision. All right, so there you have it. My picks for One Championship Empower. Now, this goes down this Friday, September 3rd. Check your local listings. Check out onefc.com, One Championship's website, in order to figure out which way is best for you to watch it in your location. Like I said, super excited for this one. First all women's event in a major mixed martial arts promotion. Couldn't be happier for the ladies. Couldn't be any prouder of them. The ladies in one championship have definitely earned this event. Can't wait. The World Grand Prix is just like the pièce de résistance. And that's including, the kickboxing bout with Anissa Meksen, a Muay Thai bout with Jackie Buntan, and of course the World Strawweight Championship at 125 with Xiong versus Nicolini. But that World Atomweight Grand Prix, that is just huge. And to have all 4 bouts happen on the same day so that they can find out real quick who they're facing next, that's just phenomenal. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on the event in the comments down below. If you liked the video, please give it a like, share it as well, help spread the word. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.